All right. Good evening, everybody. Man, it's been a interesting, I say, month now since the Eagles have won the Super Bowl. It still feels like it did that night. I'm still I'm still in the tweets, not the tweets. I'm still in the skeets on Blue Sky, grilling people as the days go by, picking up on some things they said in the past, but we'll leave that for another time. I know tonight we're going to talk about Howie Roseman, all the good things he has done, some of the negative things he's done, but there's been a lot more positives than negatives as of late. And then we're just going to, talk about the free agency with the Eagles as well. So there's myself, Marcus, man, my guy Swerve. What's going on, brother?
Oh man, I'm happy to be here for
Yeah,
another show brought to you by Because I Feel Like a Network. Um, I'm just like you said, it's been a month, but it doesn't feel like it's been a month. I swear to you, it feels like it hasn't even been a week because the way they dominated the Super Bowl, the way this season played out, it's still like realistically, it's unbelievable to me as an Eagles fan. But the way it played out, I'm just basking. What did he say? What did Terry Crews was a white girl when he said, "I'm just basking in the ambiance."
hey, bro.
And every day I wake up and I'm just like basking in the ambiance. I watch a lot of football and I watched a lot of old games, but realistically, in the last month, I probably watched that Super Bowl like seven, 8 times. Like, cause you get to, you can do it without the commercials. So it's just like like straight through.
Yeah,
I've watched that like 7 or 8 times, and because it's beautiful. Like it's beautiful. I'm not saying it's the most dominant Super Bowl I've seen because I've watched the second time the Cowboys played the Bills when I was young. I watched the way the 49ers handled the Chargers. What was that? Natron Means and the Chargers
right.
versus Steve Young. I watched Steve Young win his Super Bowl. I was even around for the way Montana manhandled John Elway.
Yep.
Then I got to see how Seattle dismantled Peyton Manning, and I also got to see the Ravens, the 2000 Ravens, pick apart Kerry Collins. Like so, I've seen some dominant Super Bowls in my life, right?
Right.
But what I'm telling you is, even we seen Tampa Bay versus the Raiders when John Gruden left the Raiders to coach Tampa Bay. But what I'm telling you is, I those look at if you look back at those Super Bowls, like going into those Super Bowls, there was a favorite, like a clear cut favorite. Like we knew after watching the way Dallas came back in the second half against the Bills that if those teams met it with the changes the Bills made, which weren't huge changes, like if they played Dallas again in the Super Bowl, they was going to get washed. Like we knew that Steve Young was going to lead the 49ers to victory when they played the Chargers with not Neil O'Donnell, what was his name? The quarterback was Nate Humphreys and Natron Mean. That team overachieved. Like it was a Cinderella. So we knew like the 49ers were expected to go in there. We didn't expect a good game. Like
But I think for this though, like the feeling of just them winning and understanding that where they're at now, right, with all the moves that Howie put together. Just think about how Howie put this together. Just this season alone, right? I still to this day don't understand, but I'm not going to slander Joe Shane to um yeah, I'm not gonna slander Joe Shane too much, but at the same time, I don't understand how you could let. I understand what they're saying as well. They weren't the Giants weren't at the point they should be, but at the same time, the character guy inside the locker room and the heart he showed and the leadership he showed, how you could let go of Saquon and let him go up the turnpike for one to a competitor in your division, right? So you do that.
But look. I'm gonna hit you with a real quick analogy, right? Look at it
Yeah.
like this. So imagine like this, like you in a long term relationship, and you got a girl, you know, if she a girl, like you chose this woman. You chose this woman. This woman gives you everything she got. Everything she got, right? Everything she got. But you don't appreciate her. You don't appreciate her even when she hurt, even when she's sick, even when she's tired. She give you everything she got. You still don't appreciate her. So finally, this woman works up the heart to say, "I want out of this relationship." And you
Yeah.
say, "No, no, no, don't leave me. Don't leave me." And she say, "You get her back." That's the franchise tag. You get her back. But she say, "Listen, I'm only dealing with you for another year. And then at the end of this year, I'm gonna leave you. But I'm gonna give you a chance. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna find me another dude. But while I'm out here looking for another dude, I'm gonna let you know what I'm finding and give you a chance to match that."
Right.
So you say, "Okay, cool," and you let her go. So you as a man, like she ain't gonna find nobody, blah blah blah, was a typical dude. So the Giants was saying like this: "This is what I'm offering, and I don't think you're gonna find somebody that's gonna treat you better than me, that's willing to pay you what I'm offering." Boom. Because the logic behind that is that only really bad teams will be willing to pay a running back
Right.
what he feels he's worth. And the Giants are like, "We're here. You're not getting ready to go here. So you're not going to go beneath here to make the money you want because you're comfortable here. And you know, at the end of the day, right here, you know what you're coming into, right?" So they only thought teams here down was going to offer him that type money. The Giants' worst fear was somebody here was like, "Hey, we gonna give you what you want because we feel like you're the missing piece." So you know what they say? He actually leveled up. Ain't that what they say? He leveled up.
Level up.
He leveled.
Bingo.
He leveled up because the Giants overestimated being comfortable,
Right.
and being okay with a lot of bullshit. But like, who gonna pay him that? The Raiders ain't the. You really just seen how they treated Josh Jacobs, or you want to go take a deal from the Raiders? Like they over leveraged themselves,
Right.
and it ended up biting them in the back. And now we have 26. Shout out to Saquon, but
Yeah.
it's just like the Giants. The deal played itself.
And then going and getting CD, right? GJ got him, brought him back.
Mm-hmm.
It was just and then it's just the sneaky moves he just kept putting together. And before you knew it, at first, over the summer, you were like, you knew they were going to be good,
Yeah.
right? And then and then the draft. You got to go back to the draft too. Getting Q, then getting Cooper.
Q falling was huge, but the fact that Q fell and you grabbed him. So, and you know what I was watching? I was watching. There's some clips online about Howie trying to wheel and deal to get back a higher pick in the second round, right? So when I go back and watch, I'm like, every GM who wanted a D back was probably thinking like they just got that guy in the first round.
Right.
So it's no way he's getting ready to trade back up and take another DB.
Yeah.
Which I think is like when I watched the whole trade up with Washington, and I know we ended up giving up the pick that they ended up with they had a really good rookie cornerback too from Michigan, Stargill or whatever his name is.
Mikey Sandstrill.
Yeah, Sandstrill. They got him with the pick we gave them to trade up to get Coop.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
I look at it like I think after grabbing Q, nobody thought he was going to trade up. They thought Coop was just going to keep falling.
Right.
And when the Eagles got on the phone, it's like, yeah, those teams that even I think Washington might have had their eye on Coop, but I think they didn't suspect, how he's trading back up to grab Coop because he just nabbed what a lot of people felt like was the number one corner on the board. The number one corner on the board just fell to him in the first round.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was definitely sneaky. Like if you go back, the whole first off, he got them picks for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Like he just got to go back. Like, yo, he got the picks for Carson Wentz.
Right. Turned that into AJ.
Everything he turned that into. He turned that into AJ Devon. Like, boom. So then, he drafted the Devontae Smith year. No. Hold on. Who was the first round pick the year Jalen went in the second round?
It was Devontae.
No.
Yes.
It wasn't. No, Jalen was there the year before.
I don't know.
I'm going to look it up now.
Wait. No. It was Rieger. Was Rieger that year?
Yeah, it was Rieger that year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I figure it was something like that. I figure it was something.
Yeah, it was Rieger. Then he comes back and he drafts Hurts.
Right.
In the second round. So that draft he won. Like after this year, if you go back and look at what they got that year, you got Jalen Hurts that year. You won that year in the draft. Year. Even if you won that year, right?
Yeah. Even though the rest of that draft might have been garbage, he won.
It might have been garbage, but you got Hurts out of that draft, so you won. Then you come back and you get Smith. You trade up before the Giants
Right.
and you get Smith.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you come back in the second round and grab the dude who I was mad at the time. Like I will tell you, I called him ACL man for the first 2 years of his career because he had torn his ACL 3 times. You grab Dickerson
Yep.
in the second round. So you grab Smith and Dickerson in that round. I don't care what happened after that.
And then you
You
come
won.
next year, and then you come back the next year, dude. You get what?
Then
You got Jordan Davis the Super Bowl year,
this,
right?
no,
And
Jordan
N'Kobe at the same
Davis.
time, right? They got N'Kobe in the same draft.
Yeah, no. Here's what happened. You come back the next year and you draft Jordan Davis, you draft N'Kobe Dean, and you trade for AJ Brown. All that's what happened that draft weekend. You draft Jordan Davis, you draft N'Kobe Dean, you draft Ringo too that year, don't they? Or was Ringo the following year?
Ringo, no, he was there. He was there. He just wasn't
No,
playing.
Ringo was the year. No, Ringo was the Jalen Carter year. I think.
Jalen Carter year, right? He just
Okay,
wasn't playing.
so
Him and Ricks, I think.
yeah, so you draft Jordan Davis, N'Kobe Dean, and you trade for AJ Brown.
Right.
Boom, he won.
Yeah, and then and understand in that draft, right? And just the slander, just the Georgia boys got the most. They weren't going to pan out outside of Jalen Carter. They said N'Kobe wasn't going to pan out. They said Jordan Davis was out of shape. He wasn't going to pan out, and N'Kobe was too slow. You know what I'm saying? And then look, you got a cornerstone. I know it's kind of early, but whatever we thought Jerome Brown was going to be, and
Jalen Carter is it? Yeah,
rest in peace, Jerome. This man
I said the same thing.
is whatever you thought Jerome was going to be mixed with Aaron Donald.
Yeah,
That's how dominant. I've even watching. I remember Jerome, being younger. Even watching Aaron Donald, yeah, he was dominant at times. He was very dominant. But I've never, ever seen a guy you could literally call holding on every play. This man, every snap, every defensive snap, you can call holding because they can't guard him. And that's what you have to deal with for the next 10 to 12 years. You know what I'm saying? So you got him.
yeah.
And then you circle back. You got AJ off of that in that same 22 season, right? You got AJ, you got AJ off of that. And then let's go forward. And then you get Q and Coop in the next year.
No, you get Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith.
Nolan Smith too. Yeah, I forgot about him too.
You get Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith that year. You get Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, and then you come back and you get Q and Coop.
And then wait. And then because the Jets are so inept at knowing what their guys are good at on offense or defense, they got Mekhi Becton for like a cool what? What was it, like $2 mil, $3 mil?
1 point. I thought it was like 1.75.
Whatever it wasn't even guaranteed. So I'm like, and then wait, and then if we just talking this year, and then they get Zach Bond.
That wrong.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's wild to sit here and think about within the last 2 to 2.5 years between the draft and the free agency, what this man has done to one, he made the team considerably younger. And then the guys on defense, if you look at it, the guys on defense, they made it to a point where Jake Bradbury got hurt. I forgot Bradbury was even around. I thought they had fired him, or I thought they had just released him. You know what I'm saying? So you got that, and then you go forward. How Q and at first it was kind of rocky, but at the same time, as the season went along, those guys they stepped up, and it was to the point where you couldn't take Coop out of the lineup. You know what I mean? It was crazy, man. It was crazy to see it. I see my guy dropped off. He's gonna jump back in a little bit, but it's crazy to see how all this just transpired over this year alone, man. And with everything that was happening, and just the growth of the guys. N'Kobe came before he got hurt. N'Kobe was playing tough. I know a lot of the times folks were saying N'Kobe kind of slow. He can't, he can't cover, and if he needed to, but obviously, as you've seen in the Jacksonville game, he covered and got a pick at the end. He did that, and then Coop in the slot was great. And the ball just kept rolling and rolling and rolling, man. I remember sitting here with maybe a couple years ago, 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, before all this happened, you was wondering was how we gonna get this all back together. I just want to put a cap on that before we move to the free agency for this year. And I'm sitting there, Rager, you don't want to throw shade on a guy, you know what I'm saying? But he didn't work out. The Carson Wentz situation didn't work out. A couple free agency guys, linebackers, just piecing it together for the linebacker position. It didn't work out, and it just seemed like you didn't know what was going on with Howie. But then, like I said, he put it back together, man, and he got the Eagles back to a point where they're the world champions. And it's good. It's a good time to be an Eagles. It's a good time to be an Eagles fan. Just seeing everything that they've done, right? So now that they're the Super Bowl champions, what are we looking forward to in free agency? Because free agency is obviously, the tampering period starts Monday, and officially you can start signing guys Tuesday, right? We saw two parts of it with them, with Howie and the Eagles, re-signing Zach Bond. I thought that was good. I know me and my guys who went over trying to figure out whether at what would be his what would be the asking price for him, or what would his asking price be for Zach Bond. Hey, brother, I'm talking about Zach right now. I was just talking in regards to what we were going over, what his asking price would be for Zach Bond. So, yeah. Between myself and Swerve, I was thinking somewhere in between 14, 15. I know Swerve said about 17, 18. And lo and behold, it came in at 17,
Yeah.
351, right? And I think what is it, like 39 guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
Yeah, something
Hey,
like that.
listen, if this is what I'm about to say about this. If he can give me 3 seasons, he don't even got to give me the season he had this year. If he can give me 3 seasons, anything close to that, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with it because dude was solid against the run. He was the best linebacker in coverage. He played way above. Like, I was screaming, get in his ear and lock him up after week 7 or 8 when they came 4 or 5 weeks after the bye. I said, yo,
Everybody was
y'all
saying
got to sign. I would have told him, look, you ain't made no money yet. I give you 4 years, 40 million guaranteed right now.
that now.
If you gonna play at this level, you could have. I know it's not. You could have told him, I give you 4 years, 35 million right now. The way he was playing, like the way he was playing ball, I saw it. You saw it. We saw that.
I got a question for you though. Who does he remind you of though? Who does he remind you of?
Like you know what's crazy is he has a like if I'm being he's a complete linebacker, but he's not as big as Luke,
Mm-hmm.
but like he's smart and he knows where to be. And it's like he reminds me of kind of Lucas, but
Because I got a name
what
for
was
him.
my what was my man what was my man, but he also who was the it was Brian and Lance Briggs. He's like a Lance Briggs uh Luke Kuechly combination type of dude. Or he's a bigger London Fletcher too. Like he has traits. Like if you look at all the more underrated linebackers, like other than Luke, Luke was good. But if you look at like the linebackers who we don't give credit to, like because we fall in love with like Erlacher did everything Derek Brooks could do. Erlacher and Derek Brooks when you think cover two. But London Fletcher literally did everything those guys did. But London
Mm-hmm.
Fletcher didn't get the love. Like Braun literally did everything that you would ask from a linebacker.
I'm gonna tell you who it reminds me of though. And I was praying, I was hoping you said it. You remember when the Eagles got Stuart Bradley?
Yeah.
He is everything, right? Because I remember before Stewart got hurt,
Got hurt. Yeah.
he was
You know what?
literally,
But
he was
number 50,
literally
yeah.
the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Now that you say it, I'm like mad. But Stewart wasn't he was only briefly here. Like
Right, right. But he was everything. Zach was everything that just when you saw Stewart, you just knew it.
yeah, he
There's
looked
some guys,
apart.
there's some guys that when they hit the field, if they're mentally right, because the mental part is to me is more important than the skill
Important than
than the physical.
I agree.
When you saw Stewart, you saw a great linebacker. It's just that injury during the training camp took that away. You know what I mean? He was never the same. Zach is everything that I thought Stuart Bradley was going to be, and then some.
Yeah.
Just his play recognition, man. Just his instincts. Just the will to say, look, you're not going to beat me. Number two, I'm not missing no tackles. Once I get my
Oh
hands on
shit.
you, you're going down.
You going down.
That's it. And then the fact, like just that pick in the Super Bowl, dude. Understand that ball. He wasn't even supposed to be there. And next thing you know, at what 6'4",
He,
he cuffed that thing like he was Keenan Allen.
yeah,
I'm
dude.
like,
What
man, dude.
after the bye, this defense has been in position 95+% of the time, and they're making plays that you have to be comfortable or you have to have an understanding with your teammates to make. Like that pick, Coop's pick was, oh, I know Ryan stepping up and playing the flats. So now I can play my position, but I can also read the quarterback's eyes and leave my position and go where his eyes telling me he's going. Like there was so much trust, there was so much like communication between those guys, and they understood and they knew where everyone was going to be or what everyone was thinking, and it was just like amazing to watch. Like, but again, that comes back to the group of guys that were selected by
Howard.
Howie.
And then Becton, dude. I mean, what was it?
Back to
You remember what was it? It was the first. Was it the first one? I'm trying to remember. Was it the first Rams game, first time they played the Rams, or was it the second time?
oh, it was the first time when he mushed. Yeah, that was the
He
first time.
pancake dude, and Saquon just ran right through there.
Right through there, and the safety didn't stand a chance.
He didn't stand a chance, man. Like the guys that he picked, the guys that he picked in free agency, man. Like every last one of them, dude. Every last one of them just went nuts. And then it's tough because, if we're gonna we go to this free agency, do I know they gotta, and it's tough to say, because I know everyone a lot. Well, I'm not gonna say everyone because that's generalizing. People have a love-hate relationship with Slay due to some things on the field, due to some things off the field. Either or. The fact is, this season when he was in there, Slay did his job.
He did his job.
He did his job. You know what I'm saying? I saw a couple. I'm sorry. I saw a couple tweets. Make their way over to the blue sky in regards to him saying certain things and people on a podcast. And I would challenge folks to please. If I could drop a blurb in there, please stop taking 10 to 15 second or 20-second clips of an interview and making it the truth. And that's not just within sports. That's within anything. What was said before that 10 to 15 minute or 10 to 15 second clip, and what was said after that? Those are that's the you got to put the story all together. Don't just tell us one part and say, yeah, Slay said this or Slay did that, and that or this guy did this or this guy did that. No, give me the whole story. Give me the whole thing. So I challenge people to, if you got, I'm gonna go back and watch the whole interview later on, but I'm not gonna judge him based off that. But as far as Slay goes, he did his job this year.
He played his position.
Now, yes,
and if he's
go ahead.
And if he's willing to come back and play his position for $4 million this next year, absolutely you bring him back. You have to bring back either him or Isaiah Rodgers. Yes. And the way Slade played, I like Isaiah too.
That's another one we didn't. Yeah, that's another guy too, man. That he had to sit down for a whole year over bets.
So. Like you have to bring back Slay or Isaiah Rodgers. I think I'm more comfortable with bringing back Slay due to the way Slay performed in the playoffs.
Yeah,
because I think the price points are going to be similar. If I think you can bring back Isaiah for around probably like 2.5,
but 3. I don't know, man. I don't know because the price. yeah, today's price ain't yesterday's price, man. And the reason I say that is because we as we know, every time a guy, it doesn't matter what the team is, wins the Super Bowl, and he's contributed in a good amount, when asked, when having to step in, that price goes up. You know what I
I
mean?
agree, but
And
I'm
I,
also
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
I'm looking at it like this. Like Slay only want to play for one of three teams. Like he's want to play in Philly, Detroit, or maybe like another team he feels could win a Super Bowl. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that limits the Slay market off the rip.
yep. Well,
Isaiah contributed and he played. So if the asking price for Rodgers and the asking price for Slay,
and he's gonna want to start
if
too.
they're who Rodgers,
Yes, yeah.
yeah, I know, that's what I know. So that's what I'm saying. Who's going to start opposite of Q next year? If the asking points are within $1 million, and I had to pick between Rodgers and Slay, I'm taking Slay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and
But
but
I'm
would you?
also saying this
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
because I don't think Rodgers will take another 1 year deal.
Oh no, that's not happening.
Yeah, but I'm saying if I can get Isaiah Rodgers for 2 years, $7 million, or Darius Slay for 1 year, $4 million, I'm probably going to take the Slay deal, and then next year it's on Ringo.
But are they? I think just at that position alone, I think how they handle this. If they, because we got to understand a part of this too is what is their comfort level with Coop? Are they still wanting him to stay inside as a slot?
Yeah, he has to stay inside. He
Where
has
they
to stay inside.
where they still use him as a chess piece all around the field. Because you got to remember, yeah, he played in the slot, but he also blitzed, and then he
Yeah,
also sometimes played him as a linebacker. You
yeah.
know,
Coop doesn't change. Coop. Listen, my thought process is Coop's job doesn't change. If they don't bring back Slay, they're
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 gonna,
getting someone to play outside.
and that's the thing. If they let Slay go, are they comfortable? Because I think if they let Slay go, Rodgers is coming back. That's
Yeah,
what I
Rodgers.
think.
One of those two has Rodgers or Slay is coming back.
Yeah,
So you have to bring one of them back.
right.
So because Coop doesn't move, like Coop has a job. Coop is Coop. He's not moving to the outside. He's going to stay where he's at, and you go get someone to play on the outside. Now
Now,
the question then becomes: Does Q shadow? Does he stay on one side of the field? That's a, that's a lot of questions we have.
and
But I
now,
think he still locks up.
yeah, and now the big guy now, man, the big dump truck, Becton.
Hmm.
I wonder what because from what I'm understanding, what I'm reading and researching, he wants to come back. So
Yeah, he wants to stay.
so what does that contract look like?
How long is he staying?
He's still young. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
ain't old. He's what, 26?
26, 27. But the thing with him is, unlike
And he's a
unlike
guard now.
unlike
They can
Ryan,
bring it back in at right guard too.
yeah, he's unlike Bond. Becton was the first round pick,
Yeah.
so he got them 4 years, and he got that big signing bonus. Like, so he's a little bit. He might be like, all right, I'm comfortable. I'm doing what I love to do, and I can make a couple dollars. If he on that type time, bring him back. Like, Bring him back and lock him up.
But if you don't, then you got Steen. I mean, I trust.
I think Steen is serviceable.
But he ain't Becton.
No,
He's not Becton.
I don't. I when we had that talk when when we had that talk early, and we were saying he moved the tackle. Now, we were saying, is he going to be the swing? Is he going to be the swing tackle, or is it? When they said they moving him to guard, I said, Lord, if that pan out, that man, that line could really be
It's
real
crazy, man.
dangerous.
Yeah, so you got that going on. But I think they're gonna have to pay him, right? But then you got that going on, and then you got also obviously you got Milton Williams. And I was listening to on the way home. Actually, I was listening to the NFL Sirius XM channel on the way home, and they was just talking about and shout out to those guys, Pat Kerwin and all those guys, man, Jim Miller, and they was talking about how Milton's contract would look potentially, and they were talking about it might have also been the Inside the Birds guys. Also, I was listening to them early this morning, and they were talking about maybe remember how they when they first got Javon Hargrave when they first got him, and that
Yeah,
and this contract was what 3 for 39, something like that,
yeah,
and they were saying you like his contract could flex in between that, and then it could also go past 20 million,
yeah,
and I'm like, ugh. And Milton to me Milton to me now is better than Javon Hargrave was while he was here.
yeah.
So
I feel like Milton was way better against the run, and
absolutely,
then the and then we seen him. Yeah, he was definitely and this year against the pass, but that
yeah.
goes back to you know Milton became a dog. Like he was good, but he became a dog. I would give him the three for 39 ain't bad.
But but again, that was the price for Hargrave in 2021, I think, or
Yeah,
2020,
2020.
with no Super Bowl on his resume. You know what I'm saying? So you can imagine what the price is
But
going to be for Milton with the Super Bowl now.
and this goes back to what I said earlier. Like,
Are they willing to take a hometown discount? I don't know,
are they
man.
willing to take the money, take the money and go play for a really bad team?
Because there's a lot of teams that got money this year, man.
Yeah,
There's a lot of teams. What was it? The Patriots.
Patriots got money, but unless the Patriots get a receivers to help their quarterback,
Yeah, the Chargers got money.
Washington got money.
Right. Yep.
But
Right,
it's
got
like,
money.
do you believe
Restructured. Cleveland restructured Buddy.
Deshaun Watson? Or,
Yeah, massage parlor boy.
mhm.
They restructured him this afternoon or this morning. I think they did. So it's a lot of teams out
So
there with money, man. And then the
yeah,
other thing, Josh Josh Sweat is up.
yeah. I would much rather if I had to pick between the two, I would re-sign Milton Williams. Like if both of them said they was willing to give the hometown discount and you could get them for something feasible to fit into the cap, but you can only pick one, I'm
Right.
taking Milton Williams
Over
um,
Josh or you talking about
over
over Milton?
Josh.
Okay.
No, over Josh.
Over Josh.
If it came down to Milton Williams and Josh, because I feel like I just watched Milton Williams develop. Like from
Homegrown, but Josh is homegrown too.
Josh is homegrown too, but I'm like from LA Tech, the kid La Tech. He comes in, boom. Like the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl year, you saw him flash.
Right.
Then last year, even during the collapse, like he still, when you watch him, he always was like solid grinding. He was always in the right position. He might have missed a tackle or two, but his effort never stopped. Like, and then this year, you just look at him. And I like Jordan Davis a lot. Like Jordan Davis has become the guy who we thought he was going to be. He's finally grown up and became that guy.
Right.
But when you had Williams next to Carter, and then you had Sweat and Smith, bruh,
Yeah,
that
it's a
front,
problem. That's a
yeah.
problem. That's a
And I'm like, the Jalen he
yeah.
showed up in the playoffs,
And Hunt
and,
too. Oh my
it's
God.
like if you let him go, I would rather. I think as good as a Jomu has done in spot duty, I would be more comfortable with Helix lining up next to Williams than I would be with Sweat lining up next to Ojomo. If that makes any sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And then you look at that. You look at that portion, and then you turn around and you realize like just the depth they had on that line. You know, young depth on that line. Hunt, Nolan, Jordan, Jalen, Josh is still what 28. You know,
28.
yeah. You know, and then unfortunately you will understand that when when teams win championships, other teams
They
want
get
to
plucked and purged.
yeah, they want to come get some shine off of that because they need some championship pedigree on their rosters as well. So when you get to that point, now you got to look. You know, if you do lose, I'm expecting to lose one or two of these guys at a minimum, right? Maybe three. Now we got to look at if you do lose these guys, one, you already know what you have on your roster. Who is out there? And I don't really care. This you know, free agency period. I see a couple guys, but they long in the tooth, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You got
they are.
yeah, Bosa. We ain't gonna get in that. You know,
But I'm going to get it. I'm going to ask you this though. So, like, I feel like if the Eagles make the right moves, they should be able to win two out of the next three Super Bowls, right?
right?
Because the way the contracts and things are set up.
Yeah,
So, like, if you lose your Sweat, and you lose Sweat Milton, right now you can't afford to develop a draft pick. So, if you lose Milton Williams, what do? The 49ers are going to cut Hargraves. You hit Hargraves back up and you say, "Hey,
mm.
we in win mode now." He's a
He don't
rotational
stop
piece.
the
Hargraves
run.
is still,
He don't stop.
huh?
He don't stop the run.
But he's still. You got Jordan Davis. That's what. Listen, you got Jordan Davis still
Right,
this year, next year. So
right.
you if,
But is he starting? Is he so are you asking me? Is he starting next to Jalen Carter, or is
no,
he
Jordan Davis is starting next to Jalen Carter, and Hargraves is your DT3.
right in pass rushing and in pass rush situations?
So
Okay,
yeah, he comes in and he plays the pass rush and when the card needs a breath, and you still got 97. You still got the big fellow from Texas that comes in and does. I don't want to keep mispronouncing his name, but you still got him. He
Jomo?
comes in and
You
yeah.
talking about Jomo?
So
Oh, okay.
Jomo, yeah.
Yeah.
So but it'd be Davis, Carter, Hargraves, and then
Yeah. I
That's
don't.
fine.
I think I can be talked into it.
Okay.
I can be talked
So
into it, but
you
at
let
this,
Milton Williams go for a year. You let Milton Williams go for a year or two and get paid. Then you look for your edge rushers. You have Khalil Mack. You have Bosa. You have Chase Young that are going to play for the low.
I'm going to get Khalil Mack. I don't want Chase Young or Bosa. I don't want either one of them.
I don't want either one of them out. Khalil Mack would be my guy too, but then it would be Bosa, and then it would be Bosa, then it would be Bosa, and then maybe Chase Young. But like you have guys that you can go.
I'm gonna find a junkie off the street before I sign Bosa, man. I
I
don't
feel
like.
like I feel the same. I
Yeah,
don't I don't like them personally. Yeah, yeah, I
I
know
ain't gonna
exactly
get
what
into
you're saying.
I ain't gonna get into all that, but because I'm a culture guy. I'm not saying he wouldn't do his job when he's out
But
there,
you want to keep. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
but I don't
Keep
want
the
no
locker
BS.
room, the way it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. I don't want no BS around nothing. You know what I mean? We got it takes a lot to build a culture and cultivate a culture the way it should be. And I don't want anything that's divisive in that locker
I
room,
agree.
especially because you got a group of guys now with the roster turnover. Lane is still there. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen with BG. That's another thing. That's another part we'll talk about. The roster is turning over, and obviously, man, you got our guy Jalen leading the locker room with AJ and Devontae and those guys, but
Smitty.
got a good nucleus of young leaders in that room. I don't want anything to upset that, and that includes a Bosa. I don't want a Bosa in that locker room,
I agree.
and he can't. And on top of it, he being street clothes too on the sideline, so I don't want him there. But
I feel you.
that means another. That's not. So that brings us to the other part. We still talking about Mac and these other guys that's out there. BG. What if BG decides he doesn't want to retire? What do you do?
Depending on the number.
Yeah, we was talking about that earlier too. How
That all depends on the number.
they kept bringing JP back for like 8 years, and he kept tapping out. After he kept tapping out of games, like in the second quarter. Yeah, man. Like I don't want another repeat of that. Like, look, I love
Yeah,
JP.
I don't
That
think it'd be that bad.
yeah,
BG got some juice. I just think he just tore his tricep. Like he was honestly he was the best pass rusher for like a month on the team. Like especially against the Rams, he was having a game before he got hurt.
yeah, he
It
was.
all just depends. Like it all depends. It's a number. It's a number. Like I would take him playing 12, 13 snaps a game in pass rush situations over somebody we drafted in the fifth round this year.
Yeah. So, we talked about the defensive line. We talked about the offensive line and what are they? They're pretty set. Lane ain't going nowhere at least for another year or two. The tight end
The
position.
kid from NC State.
The tight end position. I think me personally, I think they're going to draft a tight end within the first 3 rounds this year. That's my opinion. They're going to do the same thing they did with Ertz when it was time for Dallas or Goddard to they went and drafted him to replace Ertz. Ertz still stayed for another 2 to 3 years after that, but then Goddard took over.
Yeah,
And I think they're going to do the same thing with him. Either that
I
or
think they.
Either that or they're going to trade for one of the two.
Yeah, I think they trade for the kid from the Raiders, Mike Myers. They
Yeah,
trade they trade for him because he was a second round pick, so his contract ain't that crazy. But he's a first round talent. He's a big kid, big, strong, and fast. And you figure you sit behind Goddard for 2 years, you play your but by then they're gonna re-sign him because they're gonna like what they see, and you get your tight end for the next 5 years, 5 6 years,
yeah,
because I think he just ended up with the Raiders, which are a pretty bad organization, and then they drafted Brock Bowers. I think that's who they trade for to replace Goddard. I like him. I think he's better than every tight end in this draft, except for maybe Warren. Warren is definitely a game changer. He's not going to fall to 32. And then the kid from Michigan is good, but I'm not like he's not worth drafting at 32. And then one other kid that I like was the kid from Bowling Green, but he's probably going to be a third round pick, third, fourth round pick. So trade for the kid from the Raiders, trade for the backup from the Raiders, offer him a fourth because he's not going to resign as long as Bowers is there. See what they rebuttal, but I give up a fourth for the kid from the Raiders.
and then the other thing, because N'Kobe, we don't know when N'Kobe is coming back. Please bring back Oren Burks.
Orm Burke, you got to bring back Burke.
Bring him back. Either that, yeah, and they probably will. Then you still got Trot Jr. there. Give him some more work, but just bring back Burks, man. I've seen enough from him to be comfortable with him. Bring him back.
Yeah, regardless of whatever traps, but whatever you bring back, like you said, he stepped in and he filled in and did everything he was supposed to do.
Right.
He
One thing
played the
is,
side
yeah.
stop.
And then the other thing, I didn't know Gainwell was up this year.
Yeah, well, 4 years
Yeah. So you
this year
gotta.
for.
So what are they gonna do there, man? Like I know they say from understanding, just researching and reading and watching other pods and all that. They like the guy Tyron
Shouldn't.
Price Davis Davis Price. I think that's what his name, Davis Price. Yeah, they
Yeah,
like him, but can't none of them block. You know what I mean? And then
yeah.
Saquon ain't Saquon is serviceable at blocking. Now that's my guy. You
He
know what
did.
I
He
mean?
did really well this year.
Yeah, he did well this year. And then the other part about it is I could never understand why they kept putting uh Gainwell in there, but now just looking back, just watching the games, because that's
Oh,
all we've been doing. It really has been because on passing downs, Gainwell
Gainwell.
he's a good blocker,
Yeah, he's a
and
very good blocker.
that's why. But so I don't, we don't know what the asking price is going to be or what the price is for Gainwell. So there's a possibility they may lose him as well. But I ain't gonna want my guy, but you can't. I ain't gonna want my guy to go, but you can't keep everybody, man. That's the thing.
He,
That's the thing with free agency, how it's created. When you win, especially when you win big, you can't. You want to bring it. You want to run it back as a whole team, but you can't bring back everybody. You know.
yeah, I think I was gonna. That was going to be my when we talk about underrated guys that will be missed. He he's going to be at the top of the list because, like you said, it's the small things he does. Like he is a great blocker and pass protection. He's a great receiver out the backfield, and if you can get him in space, he reminds me. You know who Gainwell is? Since we bought back, he's what Nate Moats was supposed to be, or Ryan
Ryan
Moats.
Motes, yeah. Ryan Motes,
Ryan Moats. He's what Ryan Moats was supposed to be. Like
or
the
or or when the guy they picked in the fourth round in 17, or no, what is it,
Donnell
18?
Pumphrey.
He was supposed, yeah, Donnell Pumphrey.
Donnell Pumphrey. He's
Yeah,
with Donnell Pumphrey.
yeah, man, that's who he was supposed. That's who Pumphrey was supposed to be.
Pump free, yeah. So it's like
Yeah, it's tough, man.
Ken,
But
Kenny G is he's legit.
he's
And
gonna be
some
missed if
team
they don't bring him back, man. He's gonna be missed if they don't bring him back for real.
some teams won't benefit from him, but I also look at you got to also look at like he's a running back, so he needs to go get paid.
And and it brings everything. Just this whole discussion brings this all back full circle, man. It all starts with one guy. It all starts with the guy that got sent to the other side of the building by Chip. And I think the silver lining in that is sometimes you gotta what's the phrase? Sometimes you gotta be knocked down to bounce back, right?
Yeah,
And I think that just that whole situation made Howie who he is now. You know, he is to me he's the GM bully. You know what I mean? And,
yeah,
and right now, if you want to tie this up, and put a bow on it between him and Jeffrey, they made a culture where guys, no matter the situation, want to come and play in Philadelphia.
hmm
And you look at it and you understand that this, like, even after the Super Bowl, they didn't have to re up Saquon right away. They gave him 40 million more, right? They ain't had to do that, but it's just the love and the respect that man and Jeffrey Lurie had for Saquon to do that for him and his family because they value the leadership more, even just as much or even more than the skill and the work he put in and the leadership and the culture just keeping everybody upbeat. You know what I'm saying? Like, because these games, these are games, this year that when they got shaky, that they would have lost if that same
they definitely.
yeah,
Last year, 2 years ago, they would have lost for sure.
lost them games. And just him bringing being a culture setter. They brought him, and then they realized and recognized what Zach Bond was, and they got him locked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They've made the Philadelphia Eagles feel like a home away from home for these guys.
yeah,
I mean, and it matters, and especially in team sports where you feel comfortable, where you could be in the locker room with the guys and just be you and play
be
your
you.
right. If you do your work, if you do everything you're supposed to do, you're gonna get paid. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, and then it's a space in a city where you can be active and involved in the community, and he's provided that structure for those guys. You know, and you get to a point now where, bro, like I know every they say where eventually some teams fall off. I don't see it.
not
I
for a while.
I
If
just
they
don't.
keep everything.
I don't see it, man. And I could sit here and talk about Howie for hours, but we got more time to do it, man. And I think I'm very intrigued and interested in seeing where they go in free agency. We'll see. We already got the first two pieces knocked out with the two signings, but whatever it is, our trust is in Howie, and
Yeah,
it's going to
let
continue.
how we cook.
Yep, and it's going to continue to be that way. And I think as Eagles fans, we can be happy. We not in the basement no more.
Nope,
Not a doormat. We are the house now. We're the property. We own the NFC East.
we do.
We do, and that's a fact. So, brother, we gonna get up out of here, man. Let these people know where they can find you at.
Swerve Griffin on Facebook. I identify as skinny on Twitter.
What the hell? Hey, hey,
And the
hey, hey, man. Yeah, 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 man.
yeah, that's me. And the Black Jason Kelsey on Blue Sky. Whew. All right.
Yeah, man. Y'all can find me. You can find me on Blue Sky, man. Marcus Blackstock is pretty simple. You can find me on Facebook at the same thing. You can find me on IG at the same thing. You know, I'm getting old. I ain't that old. Don't let me fool. Don't let it fool you. But you can find me on TikTok as well, man. Pushing, because I feel like it content. You know what I mean? Just letting everybody know where our page is, our YouTube, man. Please, or if you get a chance to, man, like and subscribe to the channel. Man, we're gonna keep doing this, man. We got a lot of good things going on. And we gonna keep pushing content to y'all, man. It ain't just gonna be about Eagles right now. Right now it is because we happy. You know what I mean? But eventually when we, I don't want to talk about the trash behind 76ers, but that'll happen later. Something with the Phillies later. You know what I mean? Flyers, we might get into that too. But culture as well. Things is going on, man. But we'll be back. Hopefully, um, free agency starts Tuesday. We probably pop in and do something on a Tuesday evening. But we'll let y'all know, man. Again, please like and subscribe to the pod, man, because I feel like it. And y'all have a good night.
Have a good one.